Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Risky Ryan Trades. Thank you for joining me on another live session. Today is devoted to talking about crypto. Crypto took a pounding this week. Crypto has been taking a pounding since October. Can it keep going lower? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, at the moment, Bitcoin is doing kind of what I said it would do yesterday. It's monkeying around with last cycle's all-time high at around LOL 69,000. And you can see here the 200-week moving average. It's resting right upon it. And we got a volume shelf right here. We got a Fibonacci level right here. There's a lot of levels of support that are right there. You'll also see on my chart down here that the RSI is now oversold. It's like 29. Is this the bottom? Did we bottom? I think that we do have a temporary bottom forming. Can it go lower? Of course, it can, but I don't think it can go there all at once. So, what are we going to do about it? Well, the way that I think about this, and I kind of shot my shot a little bit higher because on Ethereum, I have my Gann angle that sits right here, and I decided to buy once it hit Gann angle because that's just what I do. I'm pretty confident that there is a better chance than not that it comes up and reclaims this level, and that's why I decided to go ahead and make a purchase earlier this week. I chose to buy Ethereum because I already have a ton of XRP and Chainlink, a bunch of Bitcoin. Moving forward, Solana is something that I want to accumulate more of if the crypto gods give me time, if this thing continues to consolidate within this Gann arc. But I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that this is going to come all the way back down to the previous, this current cycle's lows. We might be starting, this bear market might be it. And what's interesting is that around this time last year, we had a 64% decline in Solana, and then we currently have about a 67% decline in Solana. Most of these assets are correlated, so are we just doing it again? Maybe we're just doing it again to reset these RSI levels, because we went from an 86 RSI down to about a 30, and we did a 65% decline in order to do that, but we had to do that multiple times to work off this RSI. And now RSI levels are at where they were at when you would have been very smart to be buying crypto. Take that into account. Take also into account that the Clarity Act should be passing sometime in the spring now. Maybe the can keeps getting kicked down the road, doesn't it? But this has presented an opportunity. If you've been crypto curious and you're like, oh, I missed it, you didn't miss it. This is when, if not now, then when would you be starting a crypto position? These are my favorites, though: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, XLM, Chainlink, HBAR. I actually sold all my Algorand, moved it into Bitcoin, but I don't mind that one. Solana. Those are the ones that I'm focused on. Many of these other ones I think are excellent projects as well. Ondo is one of them. Aave is one of them. BitTensor, maybe it's too early for BitTensor, but eventually AI will be using crypto. And World Liberty Financial, World Liberty, this one, the chart just won't give us a bottom, will it? But to be fair to it released, when was this? Near October. So that's when the overall crypto market, that's when the overall crypto market topped, or at least this most recent local top. If you're not familiar with these projects, leave a comment. below, and I can go into depth with one of them more. But I do think we're at a temporary bottom. I mean, look at this volume. Look at the volume that came in to scoop this up, and we're all the way up to about the 50% mark on this candle on Bitcoin. Total cryptocurrency market, kind of the same thing. We're sitting right at the 200-week moving average. I said yesterday, Charlie Munger said that if you were to just buy high quality assets, he said stocks, but if you like crypto, I would assume it would apply similarly. At the 200-week moving average, you would outperform the S&P 500 by a drastic amount over time. The trouble is whenever it comes down to the 200-week moving average, everyone's panicking. Well, that opportunity has presented itself in crypto. Do I think that there should be a big rush? Should we be FOMOing into this dip? I'm not so sure, but you better bet that over the last week I have been restarting my DCA, which back here in September, October, I was not buying, just because you never want to buy the top on crypto. Because I mean, look, even Bitcoin, even on Bitcoin, we've got a 50% drop. Now, in years past, in cycles past, we've gotten a more violent drop, haven't we? Take a look here. We came down from here all the way down to here. That's a 76% drop. And you can see here that we got down on the RSI. Let's take a look at this RSI. I'm going to make this bigger. We got down to 25. That was not the bottom. You had another, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 or 5 or 6 months at or below those levels before the bottom was truly brought in. So am I rushing to the entrance? Am I selling all my silver to buy some crypto right now? No. But we are finally at a point in the crypto cycle where buying it is relatively, not financial advice, safe. And so some of these projects, like XRP, all these charts look the same. You could see that they're all correlated. 200-week moving average. Ethereum, we're under the 200-week moving average on this one. But XLM, it looks like the Ethereum chart as far as holding market symmetry. Chainlink also, I took the VWAP of the cycle high in 2021, and we bounced right off of it. So that's something that I found interesting. Solana, we're all under the 200-week moving average, but the only two, this should actually be kind of interesting, I think. The only three that I'm seeing, Bitcoin, XRP, and the total cryptocurrency market, are all holding their 200-week moving average. Why do you think that is? Why is it that none of the other assets are holding their 200-week moving average? Ondo's just bottomed out, isn't it? BNB coin actually holding above. It bounced above the 200 weekly moving average as well. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm going to check to see if I got any chats here. Got a couple people watching. Thank you so much. Let's see here. YouTube live control panel. Cool. Don't forget to hit that like button. Sure does help me out a lot. Now, we're going to do some bonus here. We're going to look at HIMS because HIMS is getting cracked. And, I was playing around with it up here in the 50s. And then when it broke down, actually before it broke down, because the fundamentals freaked me out a little bit. And it turns out that was a genius move. But this thing is starting to bottom out as well. Now, the bad news I have for you is kind of like crypto. I don't know if this is the bottom. It might take a long time for the bottom to truly set in, and it could be dead money for 32 weeks, according to my model. And if I go up 52 weeks and it follows this line, which I really do think it's going to just follow this line, it's a 19% return from here. So not the worst, but like when you can get those kind of returns off of Amazon or Nvidia based on, you know, my model, why would you pick something that is as, you know, volatile and questionable and suspicious, to be honest, as HIMS? I wouldn't. Now, Nvidia had a massive bounce off of its level. We were talking about this yesterday. It gave you an opportunity, a very brief opportunity, and it was the closest that we got to this Gann angle since the breakout here in June. Whenever you get a chance at a Gann in this little, I call it the armpit, you got to grab it, especially if it's breaking out, because this is just a beautiful accumulation zone. 52 weeks out for an Nvidia bought today, 25%. So that's better than HIMS. So I wouldn't really be buying any HIMS. Oscar, I kind of want to look at Oscar because Oscar, it's looking a little rough out there, and I do think that we are on a date with destiny with this Gann angle here. Could take some time for it to recover. I don't see it doing this crazy like loop up and like getting up to $27, you know, this year or something like that. I think that this will be its path forward. And so, you know, if I go 52 weeks out from this point, you know, that's a 33% gain. So it's not the worst time ever, but we are a distance away from the Gann angle. And if it happened next week, for instance, if we came all the way down into here, that's another 20% potential drop. So keep that in mind on the retail darling Oscar. I do want to take a look at some stocks that I just have not been able to catch. GE Vernova. GE Vernova continues to just pound higher, and it certainly does look like it wants to get up and claim this Gann angle right here, or at the very least, it may be headed to this arc before it makes its journey to this one, this Gann angle, but that's like 23% higher, potentially in short order. So I hate chasing. I really do hate chasing. But what are you going to do about a stock like this, you know? All right. I wanted to make this one quick. So if you could, you know, smash that like button. It helps get my videos out in front of people more. Thank you for joining me. Hit that subscribe button. And until next time, Risky Ryan.